Welcome to Front and Center Ice, presented by Run Pure Sports. I'm your host, JC Zargo, joined as always by Tanner.
How's it going? Happy to be here.
Good, man. How you been? You have a good weekend off?
Yeah, I didn't mind that. I mean, I wish like we were saying, I wish the All-Star shenanigans were a little bit better, but happy to be back with some actual hockey for the second half of the year.
Yeah, we were talking pre-show about how downright terrible All-Star weekend was.
It sucked.
Bit of a dud. Let us know in the comments if you liked it, because none of us particularly cared for it. Nate's fine, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. It was nice time off. Really deep delve into NBA, Maddie's favorite sport. Had some good success last week and last night, but looking to add some NHL shippers this week for sure.
Love it. Matty Ice, how you doing, man? Nice to have you back. We're almost on a regular status with you.
Yeah. When it's not crazy around here, it is a little crazy this week. I'm on daddy daycare this week. My wife's in Orlando for a work conference, so we're kind of working around that. So if a little 5-year-old comes buzzing through the screen, you know why.
Fair enough. A few games yesterday. We got a few games today. Excited to be back into it. I'll be honest, I was so wrapped up in the New York Calgary game, I didn't really catch much of anything else. We were talking pre-show. I didn't see the whomping Tampa took, but oh my gosh, can Jacob Trouba lay a hit?
Yeah, that was a big time hit. I'm actually – how did they not put Kadri into concussion protocol? It's literally beyond me.
Because there's no softies in this sport, Matty.
For sure.
Oh, he got laid out.
It was a clean hit, dude. That was a
clean hit. Yeah, I don't like Trouba. He's a headhunter, if you ask me, but yeah, it was a good hit.
All of his hits, like wasn't the last one against Calgary too? His hits are clean, man. And Kadri, I don't know how you're gonna skate into that. Like, keep your head up, man.
He cuts across the middle. You got to know who you're on the ice with.
Absolutely.
I mean, Kadri's kind of a POS anyways. So, I really didn't mind him getting laid out.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree with that, but it's just like people always want, the NHL to go after Trouba, and it's like he didn't do anything wrong. Like, if you thought that was a dirty hit, you just don't know hockey.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a dirty hit at all. I thought it was a very similar situation to what we saw with Reeves earlier in the year when he, I think it was against the Wings. He trucked somebody, and all their fans were going nuts. I said, "You've never watched hockey in your life. It doesn't get any cleaner than that."
Yeah, for sure. Kadri just skated right into it. We'll jump in today's slated games, though. We got 6-gamer, 8-gamer,
6, I think.
Six gamer, nice, sweet, and short. Hopefully find some winners here. Nothing too crazy. I like these slates. We've kind of talked about it before. Kind of nice. We can kind of go deep instead of, having to skim over some stuff.
Oh, no, we took up an hour and 15 minutes with a 3-gamer, so.
We did. We did. We are capable, but, we like going deep when we can. First one I got on my slate is Colorado visiting the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's a matchup of Francois versus DeSmith.
That's right.
In between the pipes.
That's right.
It's a pick-em on the spread, so certainly going to be a tough battle. McKinnon was looking at some numbers. He is not great in Pittsburgh, so, don't really expect much from him tonight. But, Nadesify, what's your read on this game?
My read is the Pens get absolutely shit-stomped here. Sorry, Tanner, to say it. DeShits is in net here. I think the Avs handle them pretty easily. I like Avs quite a bit. It's hard to say you don't really have interest in one of the best skaters on the slate in McKinnon. The only issue is he is 9,400, and we have a guy that we're going to talk about coming up here that seems to score 40 DraftKings points every night and has a stone nut matchup against Detroit later on. So pricing does come into play here, in my opinion, with these Avs when they're going up against Edmonton. But I do think Edmonton draws more ownership at the start. So I do think the Avs big dogs here are a pretty solid pivot off of Edmonton, because I can see them potting a couple here. The only issue is, again, price tags. It does look like Nichushkin's going to be back, which is big for this offense. We've I faded these Avs in this 2-game stint here where Nitch has been out just because he kind of drives that offense. We've seen it. So I do have quite a bit of interest in that top line in McKinnon, Lehkonen, and Valerie there. He's 6,600, pretty cheap. He was averaging right around 4 shots per game before the injury. Sat out against Anaheim, sat out against St. Louis. Obviously, after I think he was back for roughly 5 games when he returned from the IR there. So I definitely have interest there. I'm pretty much off the Pens here, which is kind of, it's scary fading the Pens on home ice, but I'm just looking at the metrics. Colorado's great on the road defensively with my guy Francois in net. Yeah, that's right. I said Francois. That's how it's pronounced. And expected goals against are even low as well. So I do think Colorado takes care of them. If Jari was in net, it'd be a little bit scarier because Jari's obviously far light years better than Smith. But that's where I'm at for this. I like the Avs quite a bit.
All right, fair enough. Matty, Nadesify likes the Avs. The people like the Avs. I'm not so sure. Where are you at on this?
Yeah, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, I guess, to be honest. I don't see one big lean either way or the other on the DFS side. I do kind of lean towards the Avs just due to pricing. Like Nades mentioned, Niche and Lehkonen, they're both priced decent tonight. Colorado has just looked like a completely different team when Valerie's in the lineup. We talk about it in Discord all the time. It is literally a night and day difference. That for whatever reason, that guy just drives the top line. I don't know what it is. As for Pittsburgh, they're on home ice. We've seen Deschitz, stand on his head a few times this year. So, we could certainly see an outlier here. Jake Gensel's been kind of quiet, coming into the All-Star break, just a couple apples here and there. He was getting a point per game. But his price is pretty nice tonight. He's $6,700. I'll never balk at anybody for wanting to play him. I mentioned in the playbook, I think he's a great one-off candidate, If you're looking to get exposure to, Edmonton or another team on the slate, but you want a piece of this game, you can play a Lehkonen or a Gensel or a Niche as a one-off guy in this game. But I have a similar feeling to what I had last night in Florida and Tampa. Tampa didn't come through, but I think this is one of those games where I think if you're going to attack it, in GPPs, you stack it up, at the best you can. You don't necessarily have to go to that Avs top line either. I think you can look at, like Rodriguez, Rantanen, and Comfort too, because they're probably going to end up against Malkin's line, who's been absolutely pure trash for the last 2 weeks. It's literally painful to watch them. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of with Nades. I lean the Avs slightly, but I don't think it's a slam dunk by any means.
One call that I did miss. Samuel Girard is 3.8K, second power play. He's playing good, and the Avs have the best defensive matchup on the entire slate, even ahead of Chicago in terms of last 5 scoring to the defensive position. So that gives a guy like, obviously, Cale Makar, right? Probably one of the best defensive plays on the slate. Only issue is he's 7,400. So I don't mind that 3,800 price tag there for Girard. Does get power play, shoots right around 2 times per game. Is going to block a couple shots as well. So he has a pretty good floor there. And he's averaging 15 to 20 DK points in his last 3 games. So I think that's a nice little salary saver there for sure.
Fair enough. The one play I had on this one was McKinnon under 1.5 points. He only has 5 total points in 8 career trips to Pittsburgh. If the Avs do smash, it's not going to be through McKinnon. That's my thought on it. Tanner,
2 of those were last game, weren't they?
Huh?
2 of those were his last game.
True, yes, he did April have 2 in the last one.
He had
but again, that was
2 goals
last year, and this Avs team is nothing like where the Avs were this time last year. So I don't think it's an apples to apples comparison. Tanner, back me up, man.
I'm down the middle too. I think we see a lot of goals here, regardless. They get both backups in it. DeSmith has been garbage. What can you do when your team's averaging almost 40 shots against? only so much a guy can do. I mean, and we get Francouz in the other net, and I don't think he's that good of a goalie either. I mean, both these teams can light the lamp. I think Crosby's going to have his hands full tonight chasing McKinnon around the ice. I mean, they're both lunatics. I do like Crosby tonight. I mean, he's one of those guys who always rises to the occasion when it comes to playing against some of these top guys. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much he's going to get done here, but I do like Matty was saying, targeting that second line. Evan Rodriguez, I like his shot prop at 2.5. You're getting minus 130 on that. Guys just have a history of coming back into Pittsburgh after leaving and doing a lot of damage, and if they are lined up against that Malkin line, he's gonna get more chances than he can possibly know what to do with, because they just don't play defense. It's gonna look like the All-Star game again out there. So I think he's gonna get a ton of chances. I mean, I don't mind Casey DeSmith-Shaw save prop at 29.5. You're getting minus 110 on that. Like I said, they just don't play defense. They give up shot after shot, and these books, I don't know. The Penguins are averaging, 36 shots against, and Colorado hasn't exactly been tearing teams up. It's a little around 32 shots per game. But yeah, it's just, I think this game's going to be very back and forth as Penguins home games tend to be. Just get a lot of goals, not a lot of defense. And I mean, either way, I think you can take a stab at either team, depending on what your lean is. I can't, because you're getting almost even money on this either way, but I can't quite figure it out, but you're getting minus 105 for over 6.5. And the way these two teams can score, and with how little defense the Penguins have been playing, I think that's just a fair shake.
Fair enough. It's, like I said, it is certainly down the middle match. Given the lines where Vegas has placed but Nade's riding heavy with Colorado.
I think you can see something very similar to what we saw with Pittsburgh and the Panthers just before the All-Star break.
Okay.
Like if this game ended up 6-5, I would not be surprised one bit.
No. Absolutely.
Their first match was 4-3 in Colorado, so I think we see even more goals here. So I definitely
even go through the Pens' last couple home games. I mean, 6-4, 7-6. You got 1-4-1 in there, a 4-3, 5-4. Like on home ice, they just simply. It's just goals.
What were you saying, Nate, though? Because they haven't played this year.
Sorry, that was last time Francois. Okay. Is how I pronounce it. Played him. He gave up 4 in the loss again last year against Pitt. He's not great, and DeSmith, we've seen that. Joda's got the best GIF ever invented, posted in the Discord every day as soon as we talk about Casey DeSmith. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree with you guys. This is my feeling on it. There's no result here that I think anyone would be that surprised at. We'll keep it moving though. Another team that's not what they were at this point last season are the Tampa Bay Lightning. They got thrashed by the Panthers last night, 7-1. Now they head home, take on the Sharks. Probably going to be ugly. Tanner, we talked a little pre-show on it. Go ahead and give the people your thoughts.
I mean, I just think after the embarrassment, was it 6-1, 7-1 last night? 7-1. I mean, Tampa's going to come out just absolutely pissed off. You can't play like that against a divisional rival. I mean, they get the Sharks at home tonight, who are just garbage defensively, allowing over 4 goals against. And I mean, Tampa before last night had been on a pretty solid hot streak. I think they won like 8 of their last 10 going into the All-Star break. So I think they come out real hot. The issue is Vegas seems to think so too. There's not a lot of value on any of these players' props or even goal scorers. At the best, you're getting even money on those big dogs there. I think the best you're going to get here is the Bolts in the first period, that puck line there. You're getting plus 120 for that. I just think they come out super fast. I do think we see a lot of goals here just because they are on a back-to-back, and San Jose is not completely inept when it comes to scoring. I mean, their top guys can definitely get it done. That first line's been really good. I see we the people on, I'm going to pull a Nade's fight here and say Isamont, but he's been playing great lately. And I mean, we get Brian Elliott in that tonight, and he is not a very good goalie. So I definitely think the Sharks can retaliate here with some goals. So I don't mind the over. You're just getting minus 130, which isn't my favorite payout for an over like that. But I definitely my favorite play here is definitely that Tampa first period puck line. I just think they come out very fast. we talk in the Discord about maybe putting the lines in a blender, but I don't think it's really going to matter tonight. I think they just come out fast and stick it to them, at least in the first period.
Yeah, I think the over is definitely a great play just because while Tampa is going to come out pissed, they're still not playing the best hockey. San Jose shoots, so they'll definitely get a few goals of their own. I like that play a lot. Matty Iceman, what's your edge on this one?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Tanner. I mean, I think we're going to see some goals here. I do expect a lot of pushback from the Bolts. I mean, they're just a veteran team. You know, from a DFS perspective, I am slightly concerned because I've seen John Cooper go full blender on the lines before. So, you know, on the bet side, that's a little less of a worry than it is on the DFS side. Thankfully, this is an early game. So we should have, you know, lines from warm-ups about 15 minutes before lock. I love that top line if they stay together. You know, point Steven Stamkos specifically. He was completely irrelevant last night. He didn't even look like he was on the ice. One cheap flyer I like. He's always been. I kind of am the Ross Colton whisperer, but I kind of like him tonight. If they get up, he tends to play a little bit more. He's been good on home ice. He's got an anytime goal around plus 300 this evening. So kind of where I'm at there. Obviously, I think you can play any of the Sharks. You know, the problem with the Sharks is they're uber expensive, right? Carlson's, you know, into the 7Ks. Timo is almost $8,000. At that point, I'd rather almost just go to Braden Point at 6,800 and then, you know, play a Stammer. You know, I don't know that if I game stack it up. I do like the over, but I just don't think that's the route I'll go for DFS lineups.
Yeah, no, I can throw it over to me. Zarg's had to run down the street, it looks like, or something. I don't know what's going on over there in his household, but nonetheless, I do think Tampa is – I always love targeting these teams after an embarrassing loss, especially a rival loss there. I mean, they got absolutely embarrassed. I full stacked the Panthers, so I was on the side of that ass whooping, which was profitable for me. But I think Tampa's going to give it to these Sharks on the giving end this time. I just always love it. It's extra motivation. I mean, these guys are all adults, professional athletes. No one likes being embarrassed in front of anyone. So I do think they come out here. Braden Point's got a stone nut matchup, especially last 5 overall on the season. The Sharks are giving up the 3rd most points to centers in the entire league in terms of DK scoring. So I like that quite a bit. And if that whole line stays together, I mean, they're another pivot off of Edmonton, who we're going to talk about, which Edmonton comes in at 20 to 30%. It seems like every slate, but it's warranted. They score damn near 5 goals per game. They're definitely going to be chalky. This is another expensive stack at a little bit of a discount off of either Colorado or Edmonton with pretty similar upside, I think, here in this matchup. One guy, Anthony Cirelli, gets that second line work with the Bago there in Killorn. Again, he's at that center position, has a nut matchup. He's right around 230, 240 to score. I can see him potting one for sure. So that's where I'm at.
I do want to mention, I think if they do go blender, I think they probably go back to Hagel being on that top line.
Right.
Because he was pretty
Stammer back.
Yeah, he was playing really well up there.
Yeah, if they would, Hagel would go up there. Stammer would come back down, I believe, to the second line, kind of how we've seen majority this year. But I don't know why they'd go blender because, I mean, outside the last game, that top line was owning people with those 3 studs next to each other. But, yeah, I don't mind Cirelli there. He's 3,300. I would like if he got power play run, but he still sees about 17 to 18 minutes a game at 3,300 in a good matchup. So I don't hate that.
All right, Lucky Day, give us the info.
Man, I was gonna call out, Matt. You just came here to brag about that, or are you gonna give us a gem? Appreciate you taking over. Had a dog issue to deal with. I like the approach, though. Definitely seems like a sit and wait. Anything else, though, on this game before we move along?
Good here.
Cool. Next one's intriguing. Edmonton Oilers visiting Detroit Red Wings. Both teams have had like 10 days off, so lots of time since both teams have played. Skinner versus Husso in net. I'm kind of leaning the under. thinking an Edmonton smash spot, but every time I think that, they get lit up. So, Nate's 5-man, I'll let you kick it off. Where are you at on this game?
What game, sorry? Edmonton?
Edmonton, Detroit.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, we foreshadowed it here. At least I did earlier. But, I mean, this is probably going to be the chalk of the slate. Edmonton always draws ownership. I mean, McDavid is an absolute freak. There's no secret there. You don't need me telling you that Connor McDavid, one of the best, probably the best all-time skater and player we've ever seen. Obviously, that's up for debate, but I think he's just absolutely a freak. He's averaging 25 DraftKings points in his last 5 games. That goes for without saying. But he's 10K basically, so you're paying up for him. But it is a nut matchup here against Detroit. Literally, Detroit's got a corpse of pretty much AHL squad out there with their injuries that they've been faced this year. But actually, looking at the metrics here, Detroit on home ice, they're 22nd in the league in expected goals against. So they have actually been pretty solid defensively. That's last 5, but facing Edmonton is a different animal here. So I think, I mean, Hyman, McDavid, and Holloway is a nice cheap option there that's skating next to McDavid on that top line. But I also don't mind that second line either with Draisaitl, Evander Kane, and then Derek Ryan. I actually don't mind either as a pretty cheap value option there on that second line. He's been playing pretty well. In terms of the Edmonton defenders, Tyson Barrie is pretty much a power play specialist only. I've got Owen playing him a couple of times, and then I don't play him, and he drops double dong on the power play. So I can never get that clown right. But I mean, that price tag's begging you to play him. I have 4,800, but you have to. I mean, the only time he's going to score is on that power play, and I learned that the hard way a couple times here. But Darnell Nurse is probably the better target. He sees about 24 to 25 minutes per game, skates on that top line. He doesn't get the top power play run, but that's because Barry's basically the specialist there. Don't mind either of those. And then my guy, Jake Wallman. I mean, I think they're going to be trailing in this game. He's their offensive. He's their guy that they need, and he shoots the puck every time he touches it, it seems. He's 4,200. Don't hate that. Outside of that, I mean, I don't really like much of Detroit because looking at the numbers here, Edmonton's actually third best in the league in expected goals against on the road. So they've actually been pretty solid, and that's usually because they're chasing around McDavid and Leon and stuff like that. So the other teams are more focused on trying to stop those guys than score the puck.
Right on. Matty Ice, you on the same page as Nate's on this one, or you got your own take?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very specific when it comes to the Oilers, so I'm either completely fading them or I'm pretty much going all in. I love that top line tonight. I'll probably have Connor and Hyman in most of my lineups. You know, the thing with them is their scoring is extremely truncated, so it's Connor, Leon, Hyman, and then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Those 4 guys alone are on pace for almost. They would be the first team in NHL history to have 4 players with a 100-point season. They're all on pace for 100 points. I'm a little bit different than Nade's. I do think we see goals here. I think this is a sneaky game. I actually like the Detroit Wingers. They're quite cheap. Specifically, Robbie Fabry. I think he's going to end up with a really nice matchup here tonight. He's $3,300. He's looked okay since coming back. You know, the 10 games prior to the break, he did pot 3 goals, but he's seeing decent ice time, anywhere from 15 to 17 minutes. But I don't think with Detroit having last change, I'm going to assume Larkin's going to be on McDavid all night long. So that third line of Detroit with Berggren and Fabry, I have some interest in. I think Berggren's 2,900 and Fabry's 3,300. But other than that, love Connor, love Hyman. I never play Tyson Barrie. He fucking sucks, so I'll pass on that. And then if I was playing one, it would be Darnell Nurse.
Okay. Now, you like them in DFS, but do you have any interest in that plus 146 Detroit money line?
Well, I mean, I always worry about the All-Star hangover, and I was talking to a few guys last week. It's like, you know, Usually I play pretty heavy each night, and usually the week after the All-Star break, I kind of play a little lighter because these guys are all out partying every single night. Connor and Leon were both there. I mean, it's not something I'd want to throw a ton of money at, but we've seen Husso stand on his head before.
Sure.
But it's probably not something that I would personally wager tonight.
Yeah. I mean, and even the guys that weren't at the All-Star game, they were on vacation all week. So
100%.
It's not, just the All-Stars you got to worry about. And we're riding the over, right? That's kind of
Yep.
like what you were saying.
I like the over.
6.5, right on.
Neither of these teams play defense, but it is kind of it's a little worrisome. Both expected goals are red and orange in this game, but it's not an end-all be-all metric. But I do look at that a little bit because, I mean, sometimes you get teams that are just having great puck luck, right?
Mm-hmm. Tanner, bring us home on this game.
I mean, anytime Edmonton's playing, the overs in play, I mean, they just score goals. Like you said, McDavid's having a season of a lifetime, one of the best we've seen. The guy's on pace for like 80 goals or something, which we haven't seen in I don't know how long. I don't even think Solani got there that one year, but yeah, he's just on pace for an insane year. They should have a great night. The issue with that, though, is you just get no value on that. You get minus 145 as a goal scorer. I am glad you brought up Darnell Nurse, though. I really like that second power play look just because, Detroit's solid on home ice. I like them, but they're going to put all the guys on that. Their top power penalty kill is a lot better. So, I mean, you're getting plus 140 for Darnell Nurse just to record a point. So I really like the value on that there. Like you said, Tyson Barrie is a power play specialist. Nurse is getting a lot more minutes just overall than Barrie is. So I really like him in a game that I think is going to shoot out quite a bit. I do think the Oilers take this one. So minus 175 isn't exactly the most exciting. I think you can, if you want to risk it you get minus 105 for the regulation win there. I definitely think that's in play, but overall, I think the over is my favorite play of the night on this one. It's just, it's always so tough to know what Edmonton team you're going to get to. Like we've seen them, like you said, just completely crap the bed once in a while. And Husso can stand on his head. And I like the Red Wings on home ice. Like, I mean, McDavid's pretty matchup proof as far as who's guarding him, but Dylan Larkin's a great defensive forward. So, I mean, it's not like McDavid's just going to go out there and, walk to the goal, even though it seems like he does every single night. Larkin's a fantastic defensive player. So I think he's going to have to work for it more than he does most nights. Not that he's going to have a difficult time, but I think we see a good game here. But yeah, I really like that over. You're getting on DraftKings where I lost it. Getting minus 125 for over 6.5. I mean, not the juiciest line, but I don't mind that at all.
Right on. Little NHL history for y'all. Only 4 times have we seen someone score more than 80 goals in a season. And 2 of those times were by a man named Gretzky.
I think Connor's very motivated to smash every single season record.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
I mean, at this rate, he's not going to win a cup, so he needs his name somewhere else.
The most we've seen this century was OV had 65 in the 07-08 season.
We've seen 60 goals like 41? 3 times. He's like 41 right now. He's on pace for like 80.
92 insane. Points and 41 goals at the All-Star break. It's insane.
Yep. On pace for like 150 points. Just outrageous.
He's a decent hockey player.
He does okay. Anything else on this game, gentlemen?
No.
I do like a Robbie Fabry anytime goal plus 330.
Okay. Fabry. I like it. Cool. Next game on the slate, probably the goalie matchup of the night. Seattle at the Islander. Jones versus Sorokin, probably. Islanders did play yesterday, so a bit of a question mark, but Sorokin has been a workhorse for the Islanders, and they had not hesitated to play him in back-to-back games all season, so I don't see that changing today. Should be a great one. I'm surprised Seattle isn't more of a favorite here. It's almost a pick-em. Tanner, who do you like?
I'm conflicted about this because the over's at 5.5. I wouldn't be shocked to see a few more goals here just because they did pick up Horvat. I'm wondering, if they wanted to maybe showcase him a little bit, kind of let him loose rather than just completely shut that. I mean, I know the Islanders don't really play loose. They play very tight, especially on home ice, but I don't know though. Those 5.5 overs always, I stay away from them just because I never seem to get them right. When I pick them, the games tend to just completely blow up. So I definitely, I know it's crazy to say that with the game with Sorokin and that and the Islanders on home ice that it might hit the over, but I mean 5.5 isn't a ton of goals here, so I wouldn't be shocked to see anything like that. I do like the Islanders in this one. Like you said, I know it's a pick 'em. I don't know if it's one of my favorite plays of the night, but you're getting -110 on it. I mean, like you said, Sorokin is an absolute monster on home ice. I think in my eyes, he should be the Vezina favorite. He's just a freak. So I really like that one. I mean, if you want an alternate to the over, I guess Sorokin hasn't been announced yet, but I do like the under is going to be 2.5 goals on him. I know I decided I kind of like the over there, but if you want an alternate to it, you can go with his goals against under. I'd be shocked if they go back to Varlamov after last night.
Yeah.
But I always struggle with both these teams as far as the shots on goal and goal scorer props here. Neither team really, they just run the lines over and over, and it's just you got to get lucky one night and pick the right line to get the goals here. I think Matty Beniers is playing tonight. So, I mean, I don't think that's a terrible play there. The issue is the Islanders are just going to be all over him. It's going to be tough here. I mean, I like Brock Nelson tonight, but like Matty said, that All-Star game hangover. I mean, he was out there slicing and dicing on the accuracy shooting there. So maybe he got a nice warm-up there for a goal scorer. He's +165. I don't know if I quite take it, but I think we're going to see a decent game here. And I know I just said a lot of words without actually giving a whole lot of answers. So I don't really couldn't get a solid read on this game. I just think it's going to be a solid game here. I mean, like you said, good goaltending matchup, but I really wouldn't be shocked to see it kind of pop for a few goals here.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we don't need to play on every game. That my apologies to the people. I did not realize Varlamov was in that last night. A little strange. Then I definitely don't know why Sorokin wouldn't get the call tonight. I still lean Seattle. I mean, I know we all know what Sorokin can do. We all know the Islanders at home, but
they're a very good team.
I really like Jones, and Seattle's hot. Nazify, you want to talk me out of it?
Yeah, I like the Islanders here. I just think they're a better team on home ice. Obviously, the Seattle, they're a great hockey team. Sorokin should get the nod. Varley was in that last night. Horvat adding to this roster just even increases that defense as well. He's a great defensive center too, and adds firing power. But I do feel like this is pretty gross game for DFS. I wrote it up in the playbook as grab either one of these goalies. I side with Sorokin just because I like the Islanders win, and Sorokin's $500 cheaper than Jones. But I don't love too much in terms of offense here because I see it like a 2-1, 3-1 style hockey game here. Just defensive battle. Kyle Palmieri is one guy I will call out. He still remains cheap, 3,800, second power play run, second line. He's playing well right now, so don't hate kind of a one-off last piece fill in there. And then on the Seattle side, Eli Golvainen is what we call him. He's 4K. He is on that third line. I actually don't mind that third line a little bit with Yanni Gordon and Oliver Bjorkstrand there. Bjorkstrand. Yeah, I saw Matty pipe up there. And per usual, I got to stay on brand with these pronunciations, but they're all in the 4Ks. And Ely has 13 shots, 3 goals over his last 5 games, and he's 4K, playing on a tear. Does get a tough matchup here. Like I said, I don't love it because this game just feels like a slug to me. And I hate betting like unders or whatever on a 5.5 total, but I do think this game could go under with these two tenders in that here.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue either way. It's 5.5. A case can very easily be made for both sides. Matty Iceman, it looks like I'm standing alone with Seattle. You ride with me, or are you with the other guys?
It's me and you, JC.
All right.
I like Seattle as well. I actually like the over in this game.
Okay.
Seattle's been really good all year long. They've scored a ton of goals. They get Matty Beniers back tonight. Jaden Swartz is in. Jacob Menenga, he's going to make his debut as well on that third line pairing for them on the defensive side. I watched that whole Islanders game last night, and I was quite impressed with what I saw. And no different with Seattle. I've been impressed with them all year long. I think we're going to see some goals here. I think it's going to end up being a 4-2 game, maybe like an empty netter, at the end of it. I like that second line, Matty Beaners, Jaden Swartz, and Burakovsky. I think they're going to get a decent matchup tonight. They're going to throw Nelson at him, which is fine, but Nelson had a bunch of mistakes last night. That game could have been much closer than what it actually ended up being. I thought the Islanders ended up with quite a bit of puck luck in that game. So I do like the over 5.5. I like Seattle to win the game. So I was actually, when you had mentioned when we opened this game preview here that you were a little surprised about the line, I was exactly the same when I looked at it this morning, because Seattle's been incredible all year long.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I'm glad it makes me a little bit better knowing I got Matty Ice on my side. So we'll ride with Seattle, and then we'll let the other guys take the Islanders. Anything else on that game, gentlemen?
No, not much. I do want to give a shout out to Dallas Sports Fan, man. He's been running with RP. He ran with RPS back when we were your DFS playbook. Great dude, big time into hockey. I appreciate the shout out, brother.
Sweet. Always. That is a nice reminder. We are presented by RunCure Sports. For those of you that aren't familiar with our work, you can head on over to runcuresports.com. Check out what we're all about. Daily fantasies are bread and butter, but we got the betting sides as well. Myself, Tanner, will always have you covered on the bets. We put out free articles to give you betting picks. Nades of Fine, Matty Ice, they're giving out core plays, kind of helping you build your DFS lineup every day. That is behind a paywall, though, so you got to become a member. It's a great time to join, though, because you can get 15% off using code TannerSmith15, Matty Ice 15, Nadesify 15, or Zargo 15. Really pushing it. Great product. If you follow us on Twitter, you see we got members winning every day. Someone's coming home with a big payday. We do it all for you. So if you enjoy the content, drop us a like right now and think about picking up a subscription. We move on, though, to the Golden Knights visiting the Nashville Predators. Another two teams with close to 2 weeks worth of rest going into this one. Vegas, slight dog, heading into Tennessee. Should be an interesting one. Predators, they're kind of on the rise. Where we might see them make a move here in the standings. Vegas, strong as always. My gut says Vegas, but I always underestimate the Predators. What do you think here? We'll start with toss it back to Matty Ice.
Yeah, I think I'm on Nashville here. The injuries are starting to mount up again for Vegas. They got Mark Stone out again. White Cloud's out. Both teams are on rest. And Saros, they haven't confirmed who starts, but I would assume it's Saros with an extra day of rest.
Yeah.
Saros has just been absolutely incredible. I actually played him in the All-Star game. He was about the only goalie who stopped anything.
That's a fact.
I do like the top line for Nashville tonight. Cody Glass, Philip Forsberg, and Matt Duchene. Obviously Forsberg Tuesday, so he just tends to score on Tuesdays for whatever reason. So he's certainly in play. I do like Matt Duchene quite a bit. He's $4,800. He's back on that top line and that top power play. I think he's a solid value tonight. And I just can't get excited about this Vegas team right now. I've been trying to all morning. I was looking at this game, and nothing excites me about them. And I don't think on the DFS side that I'm going to pull a trigger on a single player for them tonight.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, they've kind of almost swapped. As Nashville has heated up, we've kind of seen Vegas cool down. They have had to deal with a lot of injuries. So that's certainly not doing them any favors. But this is not the Vegas team we saw at the beginning of the season, for sure. Can't argue with that. Nate, man, what about you? You fading Vegas or are you riding with the Knights?
Yeah, no, Matty's a sharp dude. Preds are one of my top stacks here. They lead the league in expected goals for over the last 5. And that's on the back of this top line. I absolutely love this top line. The Glass man, it's rare that you hear Matty Ice talk about Cody Glass, but he has been incredible. And you got to give the dude credit, the kid credit where it's due. He still remains cheap. Duchesne is absolutely like that top line is absolutely going to smash. Forsberg has 8 goals in his last 4 games against the Knights. You can book that down right away. My best bet is him to score a goal at plus 140 on DraftKings. That's free money to me. It's on a Tuesday as well, which I'm a little surprised he's plus money, especially with his history. But he had a hat trick last time earlier this year, I believe, against these Knights.
He did. Yeah, it's a fact.
Yeah, yeah. And he just fires the puck. I've played a lot of Nashville all year long. They've let me down a couple times just because they've lacked upside, but they've also hit about 4 or 5 posts in those games that I stacked them up and had really good teams, and just had bad puck luck. And that's what you're seeing with the expected goals. That's why they lead the league in expected goals for. So I love this top line. On the Knights side, can't get excited about any of these guys. I mean, I wrote up Phil Kessel in the playbook just because he's stone cheap. He's on that second line. He is playing good. Does have pretty good history against here in Nashville. He's 2,900. And if you're going to play him, I would pair him up with Chandler Stevenson. I actually don't hate a sprinkle at Chandler Stevenson, anytime goal scorer here. He does have pretty good history. The only issue is Saros is going to be in net, and Saros is my top goaltender on the slate. At his price tag, I think he's 7,400, which is an absolute joke, because he is a freak, especially at home.
Nate, that did come across. It looks like Saros is likely now. So
yeah. So I mean, that's where I'm going. I'm playing 2 teams. I'll probably have 100% Saros. It's just that's where I'm going to die on. 7,400 is too cheap for him for the upside. I mean, Vegas is still going to shoot the puck, so he's still going to get saves. Nashville sometimes is pretty lazy on defense and allows a lot of saves. So that's where I'm at.
Well, Tanner, are you with these guys, or are you making your own path?
No, I'm definitely with them. I think they've both said exactly what I kind of had in mind to say here. I mean, Saros is just a freak on home ice. I mean, the team's been playing better. I had Cody Glass highlighted. He's my goal of the day. You're getting plus 370 on FanDuel for him as a goal scorer. I just love him in that spot. That's way too good of a price for someone playing on a top line on a team that's playing really well. Like Nate, if I said, they're just hitting the post a ton. You know, their expected goals is over 4 goals tonight. Vegas just hasn't been great, and it's tough to get excited about a team that's going into Nashville to take on Saros, especially, you know, there's a double-edged sword with having all that time off, but I think he's going to be fine. But give me the Predators in regulation. They're plus 135. I think they stick it to the Knights here. I mean, I love this team on home ice. They've been playing so much better recently. I know they started off pretty slow, but I mean, they're 6-4 in their last 3 with good wins against teams like the Devils, the Jets. They took on the Kings. Like, I mean, they're playing really good hockey right now. So plus 135 in regulation, I'm going to take that all day.
Love it. That's a great play for sure. Pretty easy one there. And last game on the slate, going to be an interesting one. 2 teams so bad, it's going to make for some great hockey. Anaheim Ducks visiting the Chicago Blackhawks. 2 teams in full tank mode. I think it's safe to say Bedard to the Ducks. Many people don't think the NHL will allow Chicago to have the number 1 pick. And aside from that, there have been some leaks. Does not sound like Patrick Kane is going to be traded. If any offers are put into place, he's basically said he's going to, utilize his no trade clause, and he wants to finish it out in Chicago. So with that, knowing the Ducks are going to be sellers, hey, something Anaheim's got to look forward to. But that's not what matters right now. Anaheim in Chicago. We talked a little pre-show. Squad seems to be divided. Nadesify, I'll let you start. Give me your take.
Yeah, so I do think the Ducks win this game, but I mean, I think we see goals on both sides here. Okay. Neither of these teams play a lick of defense. Both of their expected goals against are up near 4. Both teams are scoring well, but one thing that stood out to me here with Chicago is their expected goals for is 2.2, but their actual goals for over the last 5 is 3.36. So that tells me that they've been getting a little lucky here. Whereas the Ducks just have a little bit better match, a little bit better metrics, but they are on the back-to-back, so a little bit worrisome. But that top line for Chicago is super cheap in Seth Jones, Patrick Kane. I actually like Taylor Radish a little bit. And then Max Domi. I always have a soft spot for Max Domi. Matty Ice makes fun of me every time. But I do think he's viable here tonight. I mean, we've targeted the Ducks all year. And on the flip side, we've targeted the Blackhawks all year. So this is a battle of two shitters here that leads to a lot of goals. And on the Duck side, I love Frank Petrano right now. The Red Rifle, as we like to call him. He is just firing the puck a ton. He's playing well, and I can see him scoring for sure here. He's 4,900. He's averaging over 5 shots per game in his last 5. I like Mason McTavish as well. Chicago's dead last 5 against centers in the entire league. So I like that. That makes me like Trevor Zegras as well. And then Adam Henrique is the other guy I have interest in from Anaheim. So all 4 of those guys I have interest in. And I think I don't like game stacking too much, but I do think this is a viable game stack, especially on like that 2-game night slate or showdown for sure. I think there's a lot of goals in this game for sure.
Easy way to get different for sure. I like it. It's yeah. I mean, we talk about it all the time. When you put 2 crappy teams together, it usually results in some goals. So definitely like the over here. Tanner, what are your bets on this one?
Yeah, I like the over on this. Like you said, when 2 trash teams get together, it's garbage hockey tends to lead to more goals here. So I'm definitely on that. DraftKings has it right at 6 right now. You're getting -120. I think that's more than a good enough payout for this game. I think you could do the 6.5 that FanDuel has for, what do you get on that? -104. So I mean, pick your poison. I think we get it. But we were talking about Taylor Radish. I like him tonight. It's just like you said, one of those gross games. I think the stars are the superstars in these games, maybe not quiet, but I don't know if they're the emphasis here. I think you get some of these depth guys just because on these garbage teams like this, when you get into the depth guys, I mean, they're certified AHLers. It goes in, they're just not as good on defense and stuff. So Taylor Radish has been playing well right now. You're getting him to score a goal at +290 on FanDuel. But someone I have to mention, we kind of dog on him all the time on the Hawks, but I actually like him to score tonight, is Sam Lafferty. He's +440. He has a decent history against this Ducks team. I mean, last year in the 3 games they played against him, he didn't get a goal against them, but he had 10 shots in their 3 games. So, I mean, I expect there to be goals tonight, and it really wouldn't surprise me for him to pop one. And at +440, I mean, I'm going to sprinkle a little on it.
Yeah, funny you say that because they're kind of on the same wavelength. I'm liking Silverberg for a goal score +350. So he's on Anaheim's 3rd line. I know he's getting up there in age, but I mean, the man can score the puck, and he's going to be going up against Chicago's 3rd line.
I just like these depth guys. They just these games are always just on paper garbage, but they're actually fun to watch. I mean, we've seen it when Anaheim and the Coyotes ended up playing. Those games popped off. It's just when shit meets shit, you somehow find a diamond. So it should be a fun game to watch.
I think Strome or Silverberg on that Anaheim 3rd line is going to come up big tonight. Matty Ice, close us out on this game.
I actually agree with you. I love Ryan Strome tonight, but only if Troy Terry sits, because when he went out last night, he popped up to that top line and top power play.
Okay.
So especially on DraftKings, where pricing's so damn important. I believe he's $3,100. I want to say, so that's dirt cheap if he goes there. I do lean the Hawks side of this game. I like Taylor Radish. I like Anthony. I like Lafferty as well too. I much prefer him playing center than wing, and he's going to shift back over to center tonight with Jonathan Taves being out. As for the little spendier guys, obviously Nades' boy Max Domi certainly in play here. I think he's going to see a ton of ice tonight. I love Seth Jones tonight. He's usually not a guy I play very often, but the matchup's really, really good. Not a damn one of these Ducks D-men play any defense. I don't even know why they call them defensemen. They're literally absolutely trash cans. So I love Seth Jones here. Taylor Radish, like Tanner mentioned, we were kind of talking about him pregame. He's one of my favorite plays, extremely cheap. But I do think we see some goals here. I think the over is the play as well. I saw Seth Jones was plus 475 for an anytime goal. If this game stays close, I expect him to see 25 to 27 minutes, and I think he'll get one tonight.
Right on. Love it. Love that play. Gentlemen, anything else?
Oh, pretty tasty little slate here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, before we move on to best bets, reminder everyone, please hit that like button. We do this all for free, so that's all we ask for in return. And as a reminder, something we talked about prior to the break, we're going to start tracking best bets here. Haven't quite decided stakes. Talked about a lot of different things. If the people have any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments, shoot us a tweet. Either way, so I'll be tracking best bets. We'll do it by units, not record. So if I'm only giving out puck lines for best bets and Nades of Eyes drop in Lawson Krause goal scorers, I'm going to have a hard time catching him. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We'll kick it off today. Tanner, we'll start with you, man. What's your best bet?
I like Cody Glass tonight, plus 370. I like that top line. I really like Nashville tonight, so give me a goal from him.
Love it. Cody Glass, anytime goal scorer. Matty guys, favorite bet and or stack?
Give me Robbie Fabry, anytime goal, plus 330.
330, fantastic. Nate's back.
Yeah, my best bet here is going to be Philip Forsberg, Scoresburg Tuesday to score and Nashville to win at plus 255. I think Nashville gets it done. Nashville's in my top three in stacks. They might sneak up there. And I'm torn on Tampa or Edmonton here as the top stack for me. Pretty chalky, I know, but I like some of these other guys that'll get me unique. And I never really worry about chalk too much, especially there's always guys that try and zig and get crazy. And there's different ways you can do roster construction wise that we talk about over here in the Discord. Have to be a member to grab some of those tidbits that we talk about and the playbook stuff that we talk about. But yeah, should be a good little tasty slate here and looking to get some winners.
Sounds great. Man, I was going to take Seattle, but I feel like a square going with an even money play. So I'm going to rock with Jacob Silfverberg, anytime goal scorer, plus 350. One of my all-time favorite Ducks. And, I think he's in for a decent night. Anything else, gentlemen, before we sign off?
Nah, boys, I'll see you guys on Thursday.
Absolutely. Great reminder. Every Tuesday, Thursday, 3 Eastern, Saturdays, 9 a.m. Thank you all for joining us. Appreciate the love and support. That's our show. Have a hell of a night. And as always, run pure, baby.